As someone who makes a living servicing vintage audio equipment, I've always wanted to be able to prototype my own circuit boards in-house, but was never too excited about the traditional chemical etching process. CNC milling seemed like a much cleaner solution, but every time I looked into it, I came to the same conclusion. I'm never going to have the time to learn how to do that. Then Makera reached out. They offered to send me their Z1 Desktop CNC free of charge for evaluation. I really didn't have the time, but when I looked up the product and saw that it could mill PCBs, I realized I was finally out of excuses. But there was just one problem. I knew absolutely nothing about CNC machining, and I definitely didn't have weeks to figure it out. So I gave myself just 3 days to see if I could turn this blank copper board into a functional circuit of my own design. While working on vintage audio components, I'm constantly running into situations where custom breakout boards are needed. So for my first project, I'd like to build an adapter board that allows this modern dip read relay to fit in the footprint of this common but now obsolete part. This is my first CNC, so before I even think about designing a board, I need to get this unit unboxed and learn the fundamentals. The Z1 can be controlled by a variety of proprietary and third-party applications. I started with the basic Makera Z1 controller software while I was waiting to get accepted to the more polished Makera Studio Beta. I have a background in the home automation industry, building racks, programming lighting, shade, and AV control systems, so I know my way around networking and provisioning IoT devices. I was able to connect the Z1 via its built-in Wi-Fi hotspot, then switch it over to my local Wi-Fi network so that it could stay connected to the internet while controlling the device. After that, I updated the unit to the most current firmware and verified that I could control it from my laptop. So I can just bring this tab over and actually manipulate the head and the tray. So that's pretty cool. Next up, I'm going to see if I can control the cyclone through the software. Sweet. The final thing I want to do today is get this emergency stop button installed and tested. So in theory, that should be the same as pushing this. Oh, that's nice. It won't let me reset it until I spin that, and now we're good. At this point, I'm feeling pretty good. One day in, I've got the unit unboxed, set up, connected to the computer, and I can control it. With zero CNC knowledge, I started day 2 by studying up on the Makera YouTube channel. The Z1 comes with a preloaded set of projects, one of them being a single-sided LED PCB. Once I had a grasp of the fundamentals, I used the project guide that I located on the Makera site and followed the steps to create the example PCB. I began by clamping a single-sided piece of stock onto the bed. Next up, I set an offset from the anchor point and watched as the Z-probe traced the project area. Unfortunately, when it dropped to do the auto leveling, the head never stopped and the machine errored out. Makera support quickly helped me trace the issue to a defective Z-probe using the built-in diagnostic menu. A replacement probe was sent out right away, but I didn't want to put the test project on hold, so I fitted the 3D XYZ probe and learned how to set a reference point using the pocket function and the L bracket. At this point, I was ready to load the engraving bit and start the project, but unfortunately, I was engraving ghosts. I quickly realized that I had not set a Z-axis reference. I refitted the 3D probe and lowered it one increment at a time until it made contact with the copper surface, then manually entered that position as my Z-axis 0. I restarted the project, but this time I had my hand on the emergency stop button just in case the tool started to go too deep, but luckily it landed right where it was supposed to and started the first pass. About halfway through the engraving process, I lowered the cover and was pleasantly surprised at how quiet this step was. I chose not to run the dust collector as I wanted to see exactly how much of a mess this process generated. The engraving step didn't make much of a mess at all. Changing the tool for the next step was super easy. I used the button on the front of the unit to trigger the next pass. The drilling step created a lot more dust and was considerably louder than the engraving step, but it was still acceptable for my space with the lid closed. Next up, I extracted the board from the stock and filed down the tabs. Just 2 days in and I already have a completed circuit board. So now I know the machine can actually do what I expect it to. But running an example file is much different than designing and milling a PCB from scratch. While I was waiting for the replacement probe to arrive, I took a crash course in KiCad and designed my first prototype relay adapter board. This type of relay is starting to fail in fairly high numbers in the type of equipment that I work on, so making adapter boards is becoming essential for clean repairs. Before the Z1, I would have just mounted this replacement part dead bug style, but this is going to be a much better solution. I also added some pads to the design for an optional dropping resistor for the power supply feed and a flyback diode across the relay coil. Following the lead of the sample project, I took advantage of filled zones. If I had just drawn individual traces for every pin, it would have worked fine, but the CNC would have to remove way more copper than necessary. This seemed like a good idea at the time, but in the end, that design choice came back to bite me. I had been putting off learning KiCad for far too long, so I was happy that the Z1 evaluation finally forced me to sit down and learn the software. But what's the point of making a PCB on a CNC anyways? If I already have the completed KiCad file, wouldn't it be better to just send that off to a PCB house and have it manufactured in bulk? Well, yes, but as somebody that's brand new to PCB manufacturing, having this hands-on experience is going to be great for verifying pad sizes, hole sizes, lead spacing, footprints. That way I don't have to order 3 to 4 revs, waiting weeks in between each iteration as I'm learning. I'm also going to run into one-off projects where I'll never need that PCB again. So in that case, it's advantageous to design and mill a PCB in less than a day, rather than waiting for a PCB house to accept the file, send me the board, only to find out that it may or may not work. I figure once I verify a prototype on the CNC, that's when I'll go back, make the silkscreen layer look nice, make everything pretty, and then send it out to the PCB house for bulk manufacturing. So this is kind of first rev prototyping and one-off projects. With only 1 day left, I'm feeling pretty good. The replacement Z probe is on the way, I've been accepted to the Makera Studio beta, and I have a prototype PCB designed and ready to build. Once the new Z probe arrived, I performed a quick test, everything looked good, so I loaded the PCB Gerber files into the Makera CAM software and used ChatGPT to help me analyze the G-code from the Day 2 sample project. This helped me set the proper feed rates, depths, and speeds for the various tool paths. Next up, I previewed the job in Makera CAM. This was a super important step. Since I'm brand new to CNC, it really helped me visualize the task that the Z1 was about to perform. I decided to run the project initially with no material to make sure that the simulation was translating properly to the real world. I had 3 major issues. My offset was way off, which would have resulted in a lot of wasted material. My plunge depth was not set deep enough to make it through the board, and the tabs that I had programmed to hold the PCB during the final edge cut path were not working properly. A quick edit in Makera CAM and I was ready for another run. This time I used a scrap portion of my stock to test the engraving and plunge depths. The little piece that had kicked out of the edge of the stock allowed me to inspect the pads, holes, and edges. With everything looking good, I dropped the final file into Makera Studio, ran one last simulation, then started the project. I fitted the Z probe and let it run an auto leveling operation. Next up was engraving, followed by drilling and edge cutting after a quick tool change. So far so good, now it's time to extract the board. I still have some learning to do with V-bit depths. There's some parts that didn't get fully released here. This board will probably work fine, but I'm just going to come back with a little engraving pen to remove some of this extra copper that's not supposed to be there. All right, moment of truth. Nice. Now normally this would be built on a 2-sided PCB with plated through holes and the device would get soldered on from this side. But that's not the case on this one. I'm going to solder it from the top and it should work out just fine. I just wanted to keep this to single-sided. I've got the board fully populated. This red wire is just a jumper in place of my optional resistor. And overall, mission accomplished. This looks like it will fit right in the footprint of this obsolete part. Now, if I was to do this again, I would design it slightly differently. Knowing what I know now, it was very hard to solder these outside pins. I could have done a little bit better if I threw a J-tip on the iron, but there just isn't a lot of space in there. So the next time I do this, I'll draw the traces a little bit differently so it's easier to access from the outside. But overall, proof of concept here, I can prototype PCBs in-house for doing these little breakout type boards. Now this build wouldn't be complete without testing it, so let's hook up a 24-volt power supply and see if the relay works. Three days ago, I had never touched a CNC machine. Today, I'm holding a completed circuit board that I designed myself, and it actually works. That's pretty cool. Now, I didn't do these 3 days back to back. I needed to wait for the replacement Z probe and learn how to use KiCad, which I didn't count. But in the end, I did only book 3 days to learn how to use the Z1, and I actually pulled it off. I'm generally pretty good at picking up new software and concepts, so I may have a bit of an advantage there, but it's not outside of the realm of possibility for someone like me, a complete stranger to CNC, to pick up a Z1 and learn how to make their own projects in pretty short order, especially with the resources that we have available to us nowadays. Makera has a lot of really useful instructional videos on their site, an active maker community, and great technical support. So if you're interested in purchasing one of these units for yourself, you can head down to the description. I'll have an affiliate link there. I do earn commissions from that link, so it's a great way to say thank you and support the channel if you got some value from this video. Now, as I said, I've been putting off learning how to design circuit boards for way too long. I've been keeping a list of potential projects for years. So if you're into vintage audio repair, definitely subscribe. This isn't going to be the last time you see the Z1 on this channel.